Hey everyone, and welcome to my final Secrets and Recap show of this season. We're going to be talking about in the next two videos everything that happened in the 2-hour season finale of Season 4 and much, much more. Like I just said, I'm doing two Secrets and Recap videos for this 2-hour season finale. I tried to do it in one, it's just way too hard and too much stuff to cover. So you can see I put the link right up there at the top of the summary box. So make sure to check that out afterwards. I think you'll like it, and also be talking about my future plans, especially as far as this break is concerned. Okay, Fast Reflex Award time. Congrats, here are the top 10 people, the first 10 to find the subliminal fast images from last recap. Again, what it is, just find them, tell me where and when they are. Since I'm doing two videos this time, there's going to be 20 winners, 10 for this one and 10 for the next one. So let me know where they are, post them for this video in this comment section and next video in that comment section, just so we can keep them separate. Before I get started, as most of you know, episode 12 was aired again before this finale. If you remember, at the press conference, Oceanic 6 lied about 8 people surviving with them. That means 3 others survived because Aaron wasn't born yet. So all the extended scene was them telling us who these 3 were, and according to them, it was Libby, Boone, and Charlie. I'm not sure why these 3 were chosen. All we know is that these 3 actually died on the island, so there's no chance of them actually being found. And I was also wondering why even mention the fact that 3 others survived with them. It seemed like it would just complicate things. We don't really know, but there is a possibility that info was found about them, that somehow they survived, and that they have to make up this lie when they get back. Episode 13 starts off right where Season 3 ended, with Jack yelling to Kate, "We have to go back!" And also notice the length of the beard on Jack and how it changes the scene. Kate gets mad at Jack because he keeps calling her, apparently, and that he shows up with the obituary for Jeremy Bentham. Now remember, last season we actually see the obituary where it says Jeremy Bentham on it, but it also says that Jeremy Bentham had a teenage son when he died, which the person in the coffin does not have. Kate says that he came to her, that he was crazy, but Jack says that he believed Jeremy Bentham in what he had to say, that it was the only way to keep Kate and Aaron safe, obviously referring to going back to the island. We go back to the present, and Jack and Sawyer make their way to the orchid. They find Hurley peeing on a tree, and Hurley feels bad about choosing Locke over Jack earlier in the season. They find Locke looking for a way to get into the orchid, and Locke tells Jack that he needs to tell him something. Hurley says that those Rambo guys took Ben to the copter after he surrendered himself. So we go to Ben being led off by Kimi and his Rambo men when Kate comes running out of the jungle saying she's being chased by Ben's men. Why Kimi didn't shoot her, who knows. Kimi's henchmen go into the jungle, where one by one the others go into ninja mode and own them. But before the battle happens, we hear whispers in the jungle. The first out of 3 times we hear whispers in this episode. I'll play them both backwards and forwards for you. A little cleaned up so they're easier to hear, but we still can't understand what they say, both ways. And here they are backwards. Kimi goes ballistic and chases Ben and Kate into the jungle. Just as he's about to catch up to them, the linebacker, Saeed, appears out of nowhere and sacks Kimi. They fight for a few minutes, and just as Kimi is about to strangle Saeed, Richard shoots him in the back, and they all think he's dead. What are the odds Kimi wasn't wearing body armor? Ben comes out, and Richard tells him that the deal was Kate and Saeed would help us free you if we let them off the island. So Ben says, "Have a nice trip back," finally letting them leave. We go in the future to Hurley in the mental ward, around the same time we see him in episode 1 this season, when Abaddon visits him. They zoom in on a candy bar for a few seconds for some reason. Not sure why, but in the spot where the flavor is supposed to be, it says Molly Fisher instead. So why Molly Fisher? Why is that important? Well, legend has it that Molly Fisher was a little girl who went to a mysterious rock in Connecticut near a pond called Hatch Pond. And to this day, there's runes and hieroglyphics on that rock that have yet to be deciphered. So it has somewhat a little significance to the story. Then we see the room. We see the same decorations from Kate's house, and also a drawing of an island in the background. And if anyone can see a message in those letters to the left, let me know. Michael's mom, Walt's grandma, comes up to Hurley and says that her grandson, Walt obviously, wanted to see him. Wow, does Walt look old or what? He says that Jeremy Bentham came to visit him, and Walt doesn't understand why they have to lie. Hurley says that the only reason they're lying is to protect everyone that's still on the island. Walt says, like my dad? And Hurley pauses, then says, yeah, like your dad. As we'll see what happens to him later this episode. That means Jeremy Bentham told Walt that his dad went back to the island. We go back outside the orchid, where Locke tells Jack that he wants him to reconsider leaving the island. Of course, Jack refuses, and Locke tells him that they crashed there for a reason, that you know you're supposed to be here, and that if you leave, knowing that you're supposed to be here will eat you from the inside out. And we know this happens to him from the way he reacts to Kate at the beginning of this episode. Locke says that if he has to leave though, he has to lie about everything that happened since they got to the island. It's the only way to protect it. Jack says that it's only an island, and Locke says that it's not an island, but a place where miracles happen. And Jack lies to himself, saying he doesn't believe in miracles. Ben comes and shows Locke the way to get in, and right before they go down, Locke tells Jack that if he lies to everyone as well as he lies to himself, they'll believe him. Oh! On the freighter, Des, Michael, and Jin are trying to find a way to disable the bomb. If they do one little thing wrong, boom! So Michael has an idea to freeze the battery using liquid nitrogen, but that they only have one canister. He says that if the light turns red and the battery is not frozen, that will be the last thing they see, so he starts spraying it. Dan makes his way back to the beach to pick up a second group, and little does he know it's his last group. Oh look, another red shirt guy. Dan gets off the Zodiac, and Juliet thanks him. Juliet and Dan? Maybe. Rule number 1, don't eat Rose's peanuts.
Who told you could eat those peanuts?
She'll keep her all-seeing eye on you, as Miles quickly finds out. And I'm sure he'll find out more about that next season, when she'll get to know him very well. Miles decides that he's going to stay on the island, even though Dan makes it very clear that he has to get off it. And we also find out a big secret about C.S. Lewis. Apparently she has been on the island before, and we'll talk more about that later. Miles wonders why she wants to leave when she has tried so hard to get back to the island. What do you mean, Miles?
What do I mean?
It also looks like she's genuinely surprised when Miles says this, like she didn't even know what he was talking about.